Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're seeing this video, then that means it is officially time for Season 2 of Minnesota Vikings previews from Jake. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Boy, am I so glad to be saying that. Because again, I don't know if you've known this, but this whole 2020 COVID thing has been rather, well, crazy. So yeah, I mean, with no fans being allowed in the stands and no sports at all for like 2 months there. And this, that, and the other thing, but thankfully we have survived and we will be having a Minnesota Vikings 2020 season. At least for now. We'll wait to see what happens come December, but anyway, I'm not going to worry about that now, because we have bigger fish to fry. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Week 1, the Minnesota Vikings take on the Green Bay Packers at US Bank Stadium. Boy, they don't... Boy, they really have us starting off the gate hot. Holy moly. I mean, yeah. But like I say, it'll be interesting because, again, there'll be no fans in the first couple of games at US Bank Stadium. It'll be kind of, well, weird, for lack of a better term there. Even though it does sound like they'll be pumping in some form of artificial crowd noise, but again, woulda, coulda, shoulda, blah, blah, blah. We'll wait and see how all that goes come Sunday. Because, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday, the Minnesota Vikings host the Green Bay Packers at noon. I want to say on Fox. So, yeah. Finally, we're back to previewing some football. Finally. We're back to some form of normalcy because, I've been watching a lot of the NHL playoffs and all that stuff, and yeah, but normally by now, let's put it this way, normally by now the NHL would be getting ready for the 2020-2021 season instead of playing the, well, conference finals. But anyway, that's a different thing for a different day. But, yeah. So, what is the first major key for the Minnesota Vikings to defeat the Green Bay Packers? Well, if it's anything like it was Week 16 last year, stop Zadarius Smith, damn it! He single-handedly kept Green Bay in that game, even though Rodgers threw, like, a lot of interceptions in that game, and Rodgers did not look great. But again, Kirk Cousins and the offensive line looked absolutely worse. So, for me, on offense, that's going to be key number 1. Stopping that pass rush. And with our offensive line not really changing much, only real big differences are Dakota Dozier is now going to start at left guard, and Elflein's going to be at right guard. So, we'll see how that turns out. Please, for the love of God, Elflein, all we want is for you to be an average to above average lineman. Because even if you're average to above average, you're a lot better than you were last year, and our offensive line will be a lot better this year. I mean, I'm not even looking for a top 5 offensive line here, ladies and gentlemen. If we can be top 10, or even just, not a, rotating Maldor. Because that was our biggest problem last year, is there's some games where just Kirk Cousins didn't have any time, and, well, Kirk Cousins, if he doesn't feel the pressure, well, he has the awareness of a sloth in January, and, well, yeah, that usually doesn't end well. So, we'll wait and see how our offensive line looks. Sounds like Bradbury's been pretty good. O'Neal might be one of the upcoming right tackles, maybe in the whole NFL, not even just for the Vikings, but just kind of, the next generation of offensive linemen. And of course, how will our offense look without Stephon Diggs Now basically replacing him with Justin Jefferson and Tajay Sharp. So, their secondary, I mean, they're all right. I mean, I definitely wouldn't test them too much because they do have the ability to pick you off. I mean, Jair Alexander and, Darnell Savage. I mean, they have some good defensive backs on that team. So, obviously, you can't overlook anyone there. But will that be enough to, slow down our offense? Especially with Thielen, Jefferson, Sharp, Irv Smith, Rudolph, and if Dalvin Cook can get going, yeah. And now, the keys to stopping Aaron Rodgers, well, obviously it's probably the same thing as it normally is. Get to him. Get after him. Because, yeah, sure, they may not have a lot of what you would consider number one weapons on their offense anymore. Well, I mean, to be fair, the corpse of Jimmy Graham really wasn't a huge weapon. But for whatever reason, really the only big threat that I could see on their team per se, I mean, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, back in the day, could make a group of monkeys look pretty good at receiver. But, again, how much of that, though, was Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, and how much of that was actually Aaron Rodgers? But anyway, so, yeah, the big thing is going to be stopping Aaron Jones, actually, stopping Davante Adams, and just kind of seeing who they decide to play at the other positions. Like, are they going to be more, like, run-oriented? So, if we can slow down Rodgers and get to him like we did last year, which, well, hopefully will be a little easier now with Yannick Ngakoue and Danielle Hunter, even though, well, still haven't heard anything on Danielle Hunter at this point, so who knows. Hopefully, it sounds like he will be in for this week, but, again, we'll have to wait and see on that. And, yeah, I mean, really, at this point, it's going to be a guessing game for everybody, because especially on our secondary with, like, practically everyone being new especially on our cornerbacks, other than, Holton Hill and Mike Hughes. It'll be interesting to see how Gladney looks, yeah. Sounds like, though, Jeff Gladney's really impressed. Like, is turning out to be a pretty big stud for them, too. So, it'll be interesting to see how they do that. Because, well, to be honest with you, our secondary couldn't have gotten really much worse than it was last year, all things considered. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I'll be able to tell right away, just because I just hope what happens this year isn't what happened last year in the game, where our offense couldn't do jack doodah, and our defense was carrying until the fourth quarter when they just fell apart because the offense couldn't do crap. Yeah, you can go back and watch that video. I probably dropped about 20 F-bombs in that, 4-minute video, but... So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. And, yeah, I mean, like I say, the first few weeks for this team are going to be interesting. Well, to be fair, the first few weeks of the whole season are going to be interesting because, again, yeah, they had training camp, but they didn't have any preseason games, which, again, whatever your takes are on preseason games, they're kind of important if you really think about it. Because, there's a lot of players that if it wasn't for preseason, we wouldn't know who the heck they are, including Thielen. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of players out there that benefit from having a preseason, But at the same time, this year has been, well, anything but normal. So, yeah, I mean, like I say, it's really pretty much about wraps this up for me. Hopefully this year the Vikings can get it done. Hopefully we can finally beat the Packers again and get this momentum train a-rolling. So yeah, until we meet again, this is Jacob. Have a good day. And please, Vikes, let's get off to a good start here, have a good showing, and win the damn thing. Take care.